Turn it round so you can see my ugly mug and the smile on my face because I'm so pleased for the customer. This car, well, let's see if we can start at the beginning. So this car went to a local mechanic, mobile mechanic, because it was misfueling. The injector seals had gone and it was blowing back compression. Now, this chap misdiagnosed it because what he thought it was just the injector seals had gone. In actual fact, two of the injectors, injector number 1 and injector number 3, were not firing fuel. He made the customer buy 6 new injectors. I can tell you now, that is not cheap on these. I think the customer paid something like 450 quid each, plus labour to fit. He then convinced the customer that it was the EGR, so we had a brand new EGR, again, another few hundred quid. While you're at it, Mr. Customer, your water pump's leaking, so we better change that. Change your fuel filter, still misfiring. So he says, well, you need a carbon clean. So he paid for somebody to come out and do a carbon clean. And incidentally, anybody who's thinking about having one of those carbon cleans done, don't waste your money. It doesn't work. Unless you take the components off and physically clean them, carbon clean does shit all, nothing. It's a con. Okay, so it was presented to us with this misfire. So we knew that injector 1 and 3 were faulty, and these are piezo injectors, and really you need a piezo injector machine to test the injectors, or that's what they tell you. So you don't need that. What you need is you need to read what volts are coming to the injector, right? So you're going to have somewhere between 60 and 120 volts on each injector. If you've got below that, then you know that injector, for whatever reason, isn't firing. So you've either got a break in the wire or a faulty ECU. So we knew by doing a volt check that these 2 injectors were down on voltage and they were incorrect. We had a spare injector, so we switched the car off, unplugged this wire, plugged it into our spare injector to see if it would activate the solenoid in the injector, which it wouldn't, because obviously it's not getting the right voltage. So we double confirmed it. It's a bit of an old-fashioned way of doing it, but if you haven't got a £1,500 piezo in diagnostics at all, you can do it that way. So obviously that left us then with the ECU. So we sent the ECU to ECU testing to have the ECU tested, and they came back and said, the ECU's fine, right? So we're only going to charge you 45 quid, we'll send it you back, but there's nothing wrong with your ECU. Now we're convinced, because we've checked the wiring from the ECU to each injector, we've done a continuity test and a drop test on it, there's no break. We even wired direct out of the ECU to the injector just to rule it out. Still no better. So what that meant was then we thought, well, if it's not the injectors, and it's not the ECU, and it's not the wiring, what the hell, hi doll, what the hell could it be? The only thing it could be is the ECU. So thankfully, we found a company. What are they called, that company? What's that company called, darling? Camco. Now, Camco are flipping awesome. What they say to you is, send us your injector, send us your ECU, we will send you out a reconditioned ECU, we'll flash it, so if we've got your card details off your old ECU, put it onto the new ECU, send it out. If it works, tickety-boo. If it doesn't work, send it us back and we'll give you your old ECU back and we'll refund you. And that's awesome. So that's what we've done. It's been to Camco. So obviously what the problem was processors of that ECU for injector number 1 and injector number 3 were down. And as a result, the car wasn't injecting diesel. Fix for this customer, and believe me, I'm overjoyed for him because his family are having a tough time and he's had his pants pulled down royally by these mobile mechanics. You really are going to have to find a really good mechanic that's a mobile mechanic, because the ones that I come across tend to just throw parts at cars willy-nilly and it costs you a fortune. If you've got an issue with your vehicle and it's a difficult diagnosis, bring it to a garage that's prepared to spend the time on it and not actually charge you. I mean, we've put a fair few hours into this, and we won't charge what hours we've put into it, because we're human. So yeah, it's been a good result. And anybody out there suffering with the same issue, highly recommend that you go through a process similar to ours. If you don't want to replicate ours exactly, then fine, but get yourself your ECU off to Camco, because they are awesome like us.